Hey everyone, I just wanted to do a quick outline of one of our recent cube duels. I think it kind of shows some of the dynamic ways that the duels can go and also can highlight the extra deck, the Synchro and XYZ monsters that we have. So my brother goes ahead. He plays Duality for Mysterious Guard, Deslakuta, and Shieldwing. He decides to pick Deslakuta because that card really is a powerhouse if we're able to protect it properly. Um, which is exactly what he's going to do now on his turn. He just goes ahead and sets Deslakuta and Compulsory. So then it becomes my turn. I just summon the Sage of Silence to try to beat over it because I pretty much read that it was Lakuta, but he flips Compulsory on it. I mean, it's an okay play. Compulsory is a really good card to basically get rid of some of the extra deck monsters, but I think it was the right play in this situation because he basically gets to go even on it, and he draws a Fiendish Chain, which is another form of protection. On top of that, he summons Greywing and discards Shield Warrior. Now, usually this is kind of a questionable play. I think it was a really good one in this circumstance just because by getting Shield Warrior in the graveyard, he gets more protection for Deslakuta, and now he's also able to swing for 2 direct attacks with Greywing, so that's 26 right from Greywing, and then 500 from Deslakuta. So he hit me for 3100 damage on the second turn, which is massive. So he sets the chain. I summon Don Zalug and flip up my United We Stand. I didn't have any protection in my hand, so I really needed to get a big monster on board that could stick. I attacked the Greywing because I figured he was going to use the Shield Warrior on Deslakuta, and I didn't have a follow-up play. So I just wanted to clear a monster off his side of the field, but he flips Fiendish Chain, so it was kind of a moot play. But my Don Zalug still had 22, so that'll be great, right? He flips Deslakuta to draw Magna Drago, and then he summons Goblin Attack Force, the only 2300 attack monster in the game. So he runs over Don Zalug, getting the plus off of my United We Stand. He discarded for Greywing, but I flip Blackwing. I had special summoned Blackwing Ghibli, the Searing Wind, from my hand, allowing he has 1600 defense, so he stops the attack. He sets Deslakuta. I summon Card Trooper and put Ghibli in attack mode. I make his attack 1600 for the turn. I mill 2 off Card Trooper, Mirror Force, and Graceful Charity, which are probably the 2 worst mills in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway, I go ahead and attack Deslakuta. He doesn't use Shield Warrior, which was really surprising to me. I think it was a pretty terrible play. And then I go ahead and attack Greywing, and he lets that go through too. So I finally got some damage on him. I equipped Card Trooper with Ribbon of Rebirth. Basically, I just needed to draw into more cards because he was outpacing me in terms of advantage and tempo, and I wanted a way to get back in the game. But he summons his tuner, he makes Brionic, he attacks right through my Blackwing monster for 23, putting me at 25, and he passes to me. I think he should have discarded to send Card Trooper back to my hand. But anyway, I Synchro 6 on my turn to make HTX Hemoth and try to just run it over. He flips Metal Morph, which makes me take more damage, which is really bad, and he forces me to banish. So I just made a big investment for a Synchro, and it basically just traded away. But now we're in a much more simplified game state. He's down to 3 cards, none of which can really apply much pressure on me, so he's into the stall mode. And now it's my turn where I'm just trying to regain more advantage over him and start pushing for damage. So he summons Naturia Butterfly, and he attacks my Legendary Jiu-Jitsu Master, sending it back to the top of the deck. In main phase 2, he just summons Messenger of Peace and ends his turn. On my turn, I set 1 and play Card Car, still just trying to, get more advantage on him. Goes to his turn, he pays for Messenger, putting him at 6,500, and resummons Naturia Butterfly. Naturia Butterfly lets you mill 1 to negate an attack once per turn, so he's also just trying to protect his life points right now so he doesn't fall too far ahead. Really what Ryan needs to do is get a way to put damage on board to kill me. So I flip Offerings to the Doomed because I have Spirit Reaper, so I want to get that direct attack and then discard the card from his hand. So I do. He goes to 62 and draws Construction Train Signal Red, which is like the perfect out in this situation. So I don't draw for Offerings, I attack. He drops Train Signal Red. Next turn he summons Maui Interceptor Cannons and puts Construction Train Signal Red in attack mode. He attacks through Spirit Reaper with both my monsters, putting me down to exactly 800. So now I'm in the strike zone for a Gagaga Cowboy. But whatever, I still have Jiu-Jitsu Master and Spirit Reaper, so I have a pretty good layer of protection. I summon Cliff the Trap Remover to attack right through the train. This time he banishes Shield Warrior, which I don't know why. I still get rid of his face down, so I'm way up on advantage. But then he goes ahead and draws DD Warrior, and it's pretty much game from here. He just has to summon it and make Cowboy. And so that's how the game went. I think it's a really interesting one just because like he started out swinging so hard. He wound up losing a ton of advantage, but he got me into such a deep strike zone that it was really too late for me to make a comeback, even though the comeback was clearly on its way. So that's pretty much how the game goes. It kind of works kind of like the way Ring worked in GOAT format, which I think is really interesting. I'm not sure how I really feel about having it in there because I probably would have won if Gaga Cowboy didn't exist because there really isn't that much removal. So that's a duel. Then again, I did just use the offerings on the Naturia Butterfly, where if I saved it for Cowboy, it might have, might have saved me. So tell me what you think of that. This was a really interesting duel, and the reason why I showed it, even though I lost, is just because I had we saw Gaga Cowboy get used as well as Brionic, and those are pretty much like two of the best extra deck monsters that we have in the cube. If you look, I did have quite a lot of advantage over him, so maybe I could have played a bit better. Just leave a comment what you think of those cards, if you think they're too high above the power creep or not. He didn't really use Brionic's effect, which I think was a mistake since he had the Supremacy Sun to discard and it wound up just getting discarded anyway. And if he got rid of my card trooper off Brionic back on that turn, I wouldn't have been able to make HTS Sahemoth, and he probably would have just been able to attack directly through. So this duel is really just a study on both Brionic and Gaga Cowboy. If you think they're too good, or if you think I'm just being a sore loser because I lost to them, I'm not really sure. They might be right at the edge of the line, but then again, they might provide a really healthy balance to the game, especially Cowboy, making sure that you don't let your life points get too low. Or the other side of the option is, why don't we just both start with 7,200 life points if Cowboy exists? These are the questions that we're trying to answer now with the cubes, so hope you enjoyed it, and post what your comments are down below. Thanks.